Hope everyone's having a good night. Just testing everything out. If there's any troubles with my audio or anything, please let me know and I will try to get that all fixed up. I've been spending my day trying to get everything at least decent. Okay. Have to. Okay, where are we at? I got the patch notes over here. What's this? Traveler. Boop. Okay. Gotta access some of these tabs. Okay, we've got, I think everything's set up. Oop. Alright. Hope everyone's having a good night. We are now live. I guess we were live before, but now we're really live. Okay. Let's get everything started. We got some things to do. Okay. So, where is my... Hold on, let me get my controller set up here. Oh. 1 second, gotta get that ready in Steam, I guess. Settings. Enable Switch Pro controller. Hold up. Why is this? Oh, I gotta change it from the main menu. Sorry, these are the growing pains. The growing pains of learning how to run a PC a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Input, control. There we go. All right. Excuse me, piece. Why is it not working now? This is annoying. Okay. Controller. Let's see. Windowed. Interface. Input. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. There we go. We are good to go. Oh yeah, this looks a lot better. Okay, let's see. Let's check our... Oh shit, we gotta... Hold on, let's go to our... How do we get to our inventory? Hold on. There we go. Alright, got no cosmetics. Or do I? Let's see. Yep, we got the new ones. So we just bought a starter pack. Haven't, or should say, a supporter pack. Let's check it out. Alright. Weapon effect. Nothing there. Alright. We got... Yeah, my stuff from PoE1 never came in. That's annoying. Let's see what else we got. Got our pet. Got our portal. How do I get my new dodge roll effect? I gotta wonder though. Is that in here? Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, it slid so much more nicely. Okay, cool, cool. Sorry guys, first time really logging in and messing with the game a bit since getting it all set up. Let's go to our hideout, our new hideout. Wait, that's, I need Alva. Where's Alva, you son of a gun? Is he over here? Where the hell is Alva? I need to find a... Oh wait. Can I just do it at the waypoint, I guess? There we go. We're in, boys. We got our hideout. I pull up YouTube Studio on this tablet real quick though. Be a little easier to see chat. Alright. We gotta set this up. Roa cannot go out into the space there. Okay, this is cool. Wow, very nice. There's these jerks. Very cool. And this just leads me back up here. Nice. There's an inside. Let's check out the inside. Alright, never mind. This just leads me down to the bottom. I thought there was an inside. Alright, let's go. Look at that. Too bad. Poor Roa. What's over here? I have to change the effects on the hideout. Or on the mini map. Let me turn this chat off. Let's see. Can I do check groups? Turn this off. There we go. That's a cool spot. See, that's... I could almost just like put a lot of stuff over here too. Oh my god, I didn't turn it off. Um, let's just put them. Okay. Let's put our big map on so we can actually see things. Okay. So I'm pretty sure there's like another like tower somewhere. Is that over here? No. I mean, I don't mind this setup. It's decent. I don't like them being so close to the salvage bench and stuff though. So we'll switch that. So how's everyone been doing? I've been making sure that where's my live? I've been trying to keep up with what everyone's talking about the new patch. Try not to get left behind on all the information. And there is a lot of stuff to go over. Number one is for sure the what people are thinking are going to be some of the better builds. This is kind of a cool area. I mean, you could almost put a lot of stuff over here. Well, let me switch some of this sound stuff up. Yeah. I really need the music. Definitely don't want chat alerts. Don't want the cinematic volume. Hate that. Okay. Yeah, first, I guess the interest. I guess we want to talk about. At least I want to talk about um, how it seems like a lot of people are not totally happy with the new league. A lot of people seem like. Where is this? I just want to see my stream, boy. A lot of people don't seem happy with the amount of content, but I gotta say, I feel like that's kind of short-sighted. I feel like we're definitely getting more content than we got in the 0.3 patch. If you think about it, in 0.3 we didn't get a. I mean, we got a campaigns act and the interludes, which I think if you're a big fan of the campaign and the interludes and you spend a lot of time there, I could see where maybe that's some of the prevailing opinion on why we didn't get enough content. But in the end game, we didn't really get anything. I mean, we got uniques, and we got some balance. We got uniques and balance here though. But realistically, we got the league, which I like. And you know, no disrespect to the league we got, but we didn't get much. Abyss is pretty small. I mean, I like it. I think it's pretty awesome. But like, if you're actually gonna like compare it to what we got in this new patch, I don't think it's even close. I think this patch we got. Where's Toriani? I guess he's not here. Did I not put him here? Oh, there he is. The new patch we have the incursion do-over, which is absolutely enormous. I think you could put it up there with one of, if not the biggest leagues that GGG has ever put together. Personally, I think it's pretty awesome. I think what's cool about it is we're going to be spending a lot less time mapping, you know, in general. We're going to, well, more time mapping, but the mapping is going to be more like what we're doing. It's going to be more, it's not going to be directly in the map, it's going to be more in these temples, which, you know, I think is pretty cool. Um, we're going to probably end up redoing this whole thing, honestly. Um, but yeah, like, so I think like what we're actually getting from the league mechanic is you know, somewhere around 10 times bigger than what we got in the Abyss. And the Abyss is cool, and the Abyss crafting is cool, but we don't lose any of the Abyss crafting. That's the other thing, is like we're not really losing anything. The other we're just adding on to it. It's like, yeah, sure, Abyss isn't going to be on every map, but it's going to be like, you know, if you're running breaches are on every map, but they're not on every map naturally. They're on every map because we have a tablet for it. And honestly, like I was running 2 breach tablets and a irradiated tablet. I would gladly switch one of those breaches out for an abyss tablet, especially with the new tree. I think abyss is actually better than it was in the league. It's like more prominent in a way. Um, so I think that's it's going to end up being a pretty cool thing, is having abyss in that direction. But we also have, you know, obviously the druid, and we didn't get any ascendancies. But if you look at like the depth of the druid and also shapeshifting in general and how it's kind of going to be used. Pretty much everyone has the, you know, being able to use uh, the shape shifting is. I'm not going to say it's like an ascendancy, but it adds, I think, a similar amount of depth to everything. Some for some builds more than others. I think, especially whenever you're considering, um, like I think the Titan is actually going to end up being probably one of the better druids if we're breaking it down. Um, it's got some really good synergy, I think, with some of what we're going to get out of Druid. We still do have time to. Why is this not doing this? Hold on. Reconnect. No. Hold on. But yeah, I think we're going to have some really cool things with the shape shifting in general. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it, particularly with the warrior and the titan specifically. I think the titan is going to be really strong, especially with the bear. But even without it, even with not even considering the shape shifting, just adding the new druid nodes onto that side of the tree, the titan is going to get an enormous amount of. Uh, it's going to get a huge boost out of it because warrior, even that whether or not you like him or hate him, is one of the strongest ascendancies with titan. Mostly because it's got hulking form, and with hulking form you get a boost to small passives in the area, and they basically just added, you know, was it 130 new small passives to the area for him, for druid, but they're all easily within reach of the warrior. So I think that's huge. Bigger than what anyone is going to give it credit for, or at least is giving it credit for currently. Um, I shouldn't say anyone. A lot of people do realize it, but I think that, yeah, as far as like people who are critiquing it as negatively as they are. Maybe like there. Relic locker, I don't really care where we put that. Maybe we'll put it. Get rid of these real quick. We'll put something there. Don't worry. We could put it here. We'll put the relic chest over there. So yeah, I think it's a big league mechanic. It's a big boost with the actual druid being added to it. I'm not even super crazy about, like, I was on the fence. I was kind of waffling back and forth and saying that I was going to do the druid after a while of saying I wasn't going to. And I'm going back on that and thinking we're probably not going to do druid at league start, but there is like I said, a lot of synergy with the warrior. So warrior is big on there, but also we've got some really good stuff with the pathfinder. Not only is it really good on the movement speed aspect of it now, but it's also um, because it kind of it's almost replacing Deadeye with for the movement speed and the sprint and everything. The sprint node it has where it can't get knocked over, that's huge. Um, but also being able to start in the warrior and the witch section of the map or of the Atlas tree is huge. Like if we can just look out of here. So where's the warrior start? Is the warrior start like over here? Yeah, warrior starts over here. And witch or enchantress starts up here. So yeah, if you come up to, so if you're taking Pathfinder and you're all over here, taking evasion or taking projectile damage or whatever it is you're taking, and then you get the ascendancy point, your start over here, you are energy shield, energy shield, energy shield, energy shield. You're getting a ton of boost to your energy shield and recharge rate um, without having to path over to here. It's going to save you an enormous amount of nodes for your passive tree. You're also, like, just naturally, because they took a lot of the movement speed penalties off of things, you're going to be faster because of that. And honestly, like, just like not having to take all those take defensive nodes here, it means that you're just putting a lot more into damage nodes. So I don't think like I think you could still run Lightning Arrow Deadeye in campaign. I don't think anything changes Lightning Arrow Deadeye in campaign, honestly. Um, but when you're in endgame and everything, you'd want to switch to Pathfinder uh, for some of those ascendancy changes. I think you could really mop up, especially like if you're doing some sort of if you're doing endgame content where you don't necessarily want to spend all your time in the map like hunting every monster. I guess that's another thing, is that people are a little bit upset about not having all these, not having the density that they had before, because they reduce the amount of monsters in a map. I think that's probably the most controversial bit. But again, I really don't think that that's like some crazy bad thing. I mean, like, I like them obviously with this build, it's just fine. I have no problem with it. But at the same time, it definitely enables a whole lot more builds. Like, I like Warrior, I like a lot of melee builds, but you really just can't justify playing them. So yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty good a good overall change. As long as like the loot feels good. Like in the end of the day, that's kind of what matters the most. Is whether or not the loot feels good. If it doesn't, then obviously there's a problem. Where is it? Okay. What do we got here? Oh, I got the treasure. We finally got the treasure, guys. Maybe it was just something with PlayStation. I couldn't get it. Guys, this is huge. We got him. Awesome. Having trouble getting chat up on my tablet. Hold up, I'm about to pull it up on my phone. Okay. He might have to go somewhere else though. Maybe he goes over on this wall. Maybe he goes here. We're gonna have to bring some of the burrows up here. We got some burrows and they're like hiding out down here. Oops. Wait, we got Tusion? Where's Tusion? Oh, Gwenin. That's what I meant. Okay. So maybe we put these guys over here. Oops. That's such ass. I mean, I really like the crawler pet. I feel like the deer would go good here. Oh, he doesn't show up still. God damn it. Okay, well, well, at least we got the griffin. He can float around here. We'll find him later. Okay. Okay, we've got the Sphinx Mystic Hideout dude. Honestly, like, oh man, can't even throw that thing away. What is this? Oh, some news from PoE. What do we got? Substantial patch note update. You're hearing it here first, folks. What are we looking at? We're looking at when parrying, you can now hit all enemies in the area in front of you in addition to the enemy who instigated the parry. Okay, parry now always hits the enemy you parried regardless of distance. Sprinting no longer prevents heavy stun build-up decay. Passive skill tree changes. Add some additional parry relate. This is all parry, parry, parry. Falcon Dive got smashed. Increased ailment chance to Ranger and Monk. 2 clusters. Some changed ambrosia. Magnified area 2 no longer has a reduction in damage. These are pretty substantial changes. I'll have to take a second to pull them up. Hey Griffin. So what we can do is first let's get this guy here. Oh wow, he's pretty big. Taking up some space, bro. Bro, it takes up entirely too much space. What the hell? Got all that shit with you? Like we could always deal with lighting later, I guess. This tree's kind of dumb. Can I get rid of it? It's like not letting me get rid of this tree. Okay, the tree stays. See, I feel like realistically he's gonna not be there. He can't really. But we're gonna have to put Daneg. We're gonna have to put. Oh my god, I keep pushing the wrong button. We'll get used to it. Don't worry, guys. Gwen and Daneg are homies. Rog. Tujin. Probably just set them up similar to how I had them in my Dreadnought. Okay, let's see these patch notes. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. Wait, is this everything combined? Oh, it combined everything. That sucks. Okay. Wait, did they have like a section at the bottom that's just like new changes? No. Wait, it says scroll to the bottom to read. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. So we talked about ambrosia. Greatwood is now a lineage support. It's called Kirill's cultivation. Okay, okay. Unique changes. Okay, so they made more changes to uniques. Any good uniques we're always seeing, or that we want to see? Okay. Looks like it. I mean, these are all buffs. Power tread, bringer of rain. Oh, interesting. So the bringer of rain, which wasn't all that great, but it drops with 4 augment sockets. So you don't get the chest. So you can't wear a chest piece with that. But 4 augment sockets you can hit with 4, you know, greater iron runes. That's pretty good. Wrathpith looks like it's still taking nerfs. Demons of Homogenizing, we know those are gone. New endgame quarterstaff has been added with the same implicit of hefty quarterstaff. And these are all pretty good. Gemini bow now has surpassed, so they replaced all the additional arrow stuff with surpassing chance. Oh, they added a stash tab affinity for abyss items, so they have an affinity for that now. That's cool. Bug fixes. Fixed a bug where you couldn't pick up items or interact with objects mounted on the Roa. I mean, these aren't crazy. I mean, they're just buffs, and like, you know what I mean. Like, they're not something that needs to be totally like gone over. They're like little buffs here and there, but still much appreciated. They'll be much more interesting in practice. These guys need like a bench. Where's their table? I love this table because it's like got like a map and gold on it. It's very expedition-y. Squash them together a little bit so I can actually access them all. Okay. We could put the other two people. We can put them Zolin and Zelena over here. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Put those cats over here. What's that? Oh, the shoreline stuff. I kind of hate that they're here. Like, we definitely fought these people. I don't know why they were like treating them like they're friends. They were definitely like the main, and Doriani too. I'll be honest with you, but he kind of gets a pass. But okay, I don't know if I like these walls. I'll be honest with you. These are kind of in the way. I just want to put a map in, some cheesy map, just so we can see the range on the. See how big the spread is for the portals. Let's do a map I hate, so it doesn't feel like a waste. Flotsam. I don't hate it, but oh, those are nice. I like those portals. that I can't delete this and bring it back like an NPC. So that lion is there. Can I get an... Where's my lion? It's like I just don't have a place that I like to put this. I mean, I guess it goes right in front of the stash. I could put it... That's near the relic locker, though. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got going on here. Planter, tree planter, table. And we'll get all that stuff in once we get all the people and everything placed. But right now we need to find a place for that worm guy. I mean, maybe put him in this side. He's kind of weird though. I mean, maybe put him down further. Maybe we don't need him all the time. Oops. I thought there's a place where you can go inside, but maybe I'm wrong. It was just down here. You can put him under here. That might be a pretty cool spot for him. It's kind of like abyssy. See, we'll put him over here. See how he likes it. Oh my gosh, it ruins it. Oh, okay, there we go. We got a spot. We got a spot. Okay. You need a spot for like Alva, I guess. There's no variation of this. Can I put Alva in it? No. Okay, so that's kind of a waste. I cannot delete it. Yo. Wonder if I'm gonna have to go. I'll probably have to go into keyboard and mouse mode to fix that, I guess, now. We'll deal with that in a minute. For now, we'll put her over here with these homies. Griffin, we're gonna put you up top. I know you can fly around and everything, but we want you up here. mean, I could put Alva. She doesn't really serve a purpose at this point, though, so we're just gonna leave her down there. See, I kind of like that one, actually. It's a little bigger, a little more substantial. It doesn't not fit. We need to get rid of the fucking gazebo, though. Can we move this one? No, we can't touch the gazebos. Okay. Okay, so we got the basics in place. We're gonna have to church it up a little bit and make it look nicer, though, for sure. I just don't want it to look like a fucking lounge, like there's shit, like there's chairs everywhere. Let's check the whoa. Check the variations on this. I don't remember which one we had. This one. Yeah, it's probably fine. Looks good. However, I don't see the point of... Oh, I can't believe I don't have any of my portals or anything. Put some Marikath guards around. Like guarding the entrances or something. Okay, let's just see if we could switch to keyboard and mouse so that we can get rid of some of that stuff. Then we'll switch back to controller. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see if we can get rid of those things real quick. I don't remember. Oh yeah, here we go. Edit. There we go. Decorations. Yeah, we gotta place this guy somewhere. How do we get him out? Oh, there we go. How do we turn him? So like, there we go. Just put him in, yeah, put him in this like corner. That's not bad. That's his animal, not pet. I mean, this is fine. I mean, I don't like the gazebo. It's too big. It's like I got to go around it. I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, back to 0 0.4 talk. So yeah, I think that I got distracted with all this hideout nonsense. Let's go back and switch to keyboard, or go back and switch to our controller. Okay. But yeah, I think that the new mechanic's huge. We don't lose Abyss at all. In fact, it expands a little bit with the new the bigger the tree and everything makes it better. Bringing your map modifiers down to the Abyss is huge. Way like the idea would be like, a lot of people thought we were gonna have like less of the crafting material, less omens of light. But if we're bringing our map mods in there and we're running quantity and rarity, I think we're gonna actually probably have more of those types of crafting materials. At the very least, they're gonna be not too much different than what we're at. New mechanic is sick. We don't even know everything that we can do in there yet, so I don't want to talk too much, but everything we've saw looks really awesome. Like we got boosts to like 50% of the or more of the uniques in general. Seems like 80% of pinnacle boss uniques got buffed. Um, some changes on the Atlas boss tree as well, like the delirium and stuff. So it's like we didn't get like an end game overhaul, but we did. Especially with like a lot of people wouldn't consider balancing characters end game, but like you kind of have to, because we're not balancing our characters so that they can run the campaign. We're really balancing them so that they're viable in the end game. At least that's how I look at that. I think a lot of the build variety is going to lend itself to being a lot better in the end game. They reduce the density of maps, which I know a lot of people were upset about, but again, this is just going to open up build variety, especially in the end game. And you can still spec into pack size on your map. You can still use maps with precursor tablets. We also got the rare precursor tablets and corrupted ones, so we can have 4 mods on there, so we could have rare monsters and pack size, if you wanted that. I mean, like, what else would you want to have on there? Rare monsters and rarity, rare monsters and quantity. These are all good things. Um, but if like pack size is what you want, you could throw pack size on there. You could throw pack size on the Atlas tree. Especially if you're like an ED contagion or corpse explosion or something that uses a skill like that where you kind of want more pack size. I think it's just a choice now. You very well may get, I'd say you get less of something else, but that's not true, because if you do have the 4 mod precursor tablets, that's only additive. So like you can add, if it's 40% more, you could at least add 30% through precursor tablets, like right off the top. And then you could take like one node for 10% more. If I remember correctly, they're 10% nodes. 3%. Never mind, I'm wrong. Totally wrong there. But still, like, a lot of these you're taking anyway, just to path places. So, like, if you lost 40%, you take 30, or 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So you're taking 15 just with like the normal sort of rare monsters additions. Plus you can add 30% through your tablets, plus keep your rare monsters, plus have 2 breach modifiers or 2 abyssal modifiers or whatever. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. If you want it, you can have it. If not, like for me, I wouldn't necessarily want more pack size, unless my build relied on pack size. But like if I'm not taking more pack size, it's like, what would I take? It's like I guess it's going to be pretty much this. I'm going to run. See, that's I'd say the biggest downside is the main map here didn't change enough. Didn't change at all really. So that's like the only thing that's like kind of disappointing to me. They made the Delirium Atlas tree much better. Yeah, so I think we didn't get an endgame overhaul, but we got a lot of changes to the endgame. I think people should be pretty stoked about. Certainly don't think you should be preemptively upset. Um, I mean, I guess you could do whatever you want, but you know, I don't think there's any need to be preemptively upset about it. Let's get this where I normally have it. Not that I'm going to be running too much between now and then. Okay. Yeah, that's about what I normally. So if like this is your normal map, you know, 40% like base pack size off is going to be is like assuming that you're not taking any of these pack size nodes, but like you're probably taking 6 pack size nodes if you're running something like this, which is pretty basic, pretty standard. Unless you don't want rare monsters, everyone wants rare monsters. So you're taking 4 to 5, so you're taking 12 to 15% on top. Plus you can get 30% through your tablet. You make up your 40% pretty quickly. And like outside of that, like how do you add more pack size? Just go 3, 6, or 3. You could add your magic monsters that way. You could add more rare monsters. Like realistically, if you wanted to add more pack size now, it's like you would want to kind of plus there's these pack size nodes, more monster packs in general. So like we're adding a lot of this stuff anyway. But like if you wanted more, I mean, I would just come over here, magic monsters, magic monsters, magic packs. I feel like that's a pretty good change if you want more monsters on your map. What else did we get? Oh yeah. So like I think we found out what this one is. I think maybe this is going to be the node that you take to corrupt your precursor tablets. I'm so honestly, like I've been saying, like I didn't think it was going to happen, and I mentioned it a few times on stream that I was like, give us four mod precursors, give us the ability to corrupt precursors, and they did. So that's huge, absolutely huge. I got points, guys. I got points. We need to buy some stash tabs. We're not gonna buy too many though because we need to. We're gonna save some. Well, like I'm not gonna buy a new map stash tab because they're remove only. I don't put too many right back in, so we have enough for the last. So we're not gonna buy that one. We're gonna buy that one next week when they go on sale. Like we're not gonna make it to endgame until next week. So like a lot of these things are pretty much dead in the water, honestly. Like we might just buy like a quad stash tab, a currency stash tab. That's like it to start. I think currency is the big one for now, though. One thing I did want to see is I wanted to see if I think I should still have. Oh, it's removed. Oh, okay. So I have to buy a new merchant one. That's annoying. That's upsetting. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. No, I can't sell it. God damn it. I'll have to go on my PlayStation and put that back up for sale. So I'll have to buy a merchant tab. Let's see what let's try to calculate a quick cost on what we're going to be spending on tabs right now. I think they're what 20% off in the sale. Let's see. 150, 225. Well, let's just take the currency one because you're probably going to buy that early. Like I don't know, maybe we can get away with it. Socketables. $345, $385, $425. If I want that one, $465, $505, $645. So we're like at like 800 points or so. Let's say 800 to 850. But then we do a 20% off of that. It's going to be closer to 800. I have a few points left over to play with or to hold on to. That's not bad. The count cursor pack. Maybe we'll buy the cursor pack. I wish I could just buy one of them, honestly. For like 20 points or something. I'd probably just buy like the eternal cursor. Can I use the music player? That's cool. Actually, what I'd like to get is I'd like to eventually get a map device, but if I had enough, which one would I get is the question. I'd like a timekeeper one, honestly. Either a timekeeper or the Jin one. I guess the Jin one's the cheaper one. But I don't like that I'd have to like want the same ports. I guess I'd get like, I guess I'd save up and get the bronze. Silver might fit better though. Maybe. I mean, that's pretty cool too. That's probably better, honestly. The gold one, I don't think so. Hold on here. Okay. That's just an idea of what we're going to do for our stash tabs. Yeah, say it was like, say it's like a 20% sale. And it's like 850 times 0.8. Probably get them for like 680, 700. So we have 200 points left over. Not sure I'd buy anything, honestly. Yeah, I don't really care about like the pilfering ring or any of these scrolls. It's kind of, I mean, they're cool, but they're whatever. Just kind of, they're just extra, you know. Like that's just already owned, but I don't really own it because I got it on PlayStation and they don't let me use it. I don't think so anyway. Yeah, they don't. I do like this set though. I guess we could put that on for now just for fun. These things that I got over Twitch are still here. That's fine. Wonder what the Twitch drops are going to be for the actual for the first 3 hours or whatever of a streamer, whatever you're watching or whatever. I think that'll be cool. Hopefully it's a I want a level up effect, honestly. good level up effect. Let's take a look at this armor. Or I guess I could put the back attachment on too. Yo, Griffin, get out of here. Let's get on here. I feel like this kind of is pretty good with the armored Roa. It is cool though. I dig it. Do I have any unidentified items? Let's go see if we can get that slinky guy to identify something for us. Maybe not. Oh, we do. We'll just take one of these. Let's go visit Mr. Slinky. He's over here. Yeah, I guess we should, oh, he's gonna identify it for us. Oh. Cool. Nice and quick too. I like that. Guess we can talk about builds and stuff that look good. So I already mentioned Warrior looks good. Like I think Warrior got buffs across the board that make him totally viable. So like with Titan you have the potentially the best single ascendancy node in the game, which is Hulking Form, which gives you a buff to your small passives, and you have tons more Druid passives. Plus it looks like there's going to be support for aftershocks, and there's new skills that deal with aftershocks and echoes and things like that. Like echoing whatever it was, and things that help you with give better war cries. Like you could probably do it with a bear, but you could probably just be straight Titan and get all the benefits. Same with any of the warriors. You could probably run a bear as well, but they also have a really good synergy with that shapeshift, I think. But I don't think it's totally necessary. There's so much DPS on the tree otherwise. It's almost like just extra something to do. You've got Smith of Katava, which is back to being a defensive juggernaut. Especially with its now you get like, what is it, like you can get like something like 1600 or 1400, 1500, somewhere around there, extra armor just by doing it and taking a bunch of armor nodes. Besides the one that give, like if you take the one that gives you more resistances based off of your fire resistances, and then just take armor nodes, I think you end up with something like 1500 extra armor, which is enormous. Like you could already get like a couple thousand on your armor for basically free, because you just need a good white plate. Yeah, you're going to be probably heading into maps with 100% with 75+% resistance, and enough armor to get you through to tier 15 maps as far as defense goes. And then you just have to make sure that you spend your loot on good hammers and jewelry to really bolster your damage. You also remove a lot of the need for resistance nodes on your gear. When you remove the resistance nodes, you can add things like attack speed, life regen or life leech, things like that, which normally you wouldn't want, but since you don't have to have resistances, they're only going to help you. You also have like, is it like Zoph's Blood, which gives you fire res, like a lot of fire res, and it also gives you life regen and like overflow on life. It gives you some really crazy stuff now. They changed a lot of those um, modifiers on uniques around to make them go from. Some of them went from being like 25% less of something to like 25% more of something. So basically, like they removed downsides and turned them into upsides. Um, Plus, you could have the ability to double corrupt them, or what people are calling Valborn corrupt them. Um, so yeah, I think Warrior is super strong going into the 0.4. I think as many nerfs as they gave to Deadeye, you could reduce it by what 70% or so. I think it's going to be less for like the. I think it depends on what type of build you had, but I think it's going to be around 60 to 75% nerf on damage across the board for most like meta Deadeyes. But I think that if you made it 3 or 4 times longer for me to kill Zesht, that changes it from being a half a second to like a second and a half to 2 seconds, which is not really saying a whole lot. So I think Deadeye is still strong, especially in the campaign. I don't think anything really changes it for it in a major way in the campaign. It's more to the top end when you're, top end game builds. Um, there's some things you're gonna have to obviously move around and deal with, like Defy is no longer really a good option with constricting command. So you have to do something else to deal with your mana. You're going to lose DPS, obviously, through trying to deal with your mana as well. But again, I still think it's a viable build, especially for campaign. And when I say especially for campaign, that's also assuming that like after you go through campaign, you're getting into endgame maps, you might just want to switch to Pathfinder, which is really strong on the tree, on the ascendancy, because now you can sprint without being heavy stunned, so you won't need a Roa. You can save that spirit and put it somewhere else. Um, you can also start on different places of the tree now, either warrior or in sorceress, and I think sorceress is a good choice because you can take like 6 energy shield nodes right off the bat and give yourself like a ton of you can make yourself more of an energy shield base than the evasion base, and just focus more on like being tanky as shit with energy shield, which I think is a huge win. It's something I would have wanted to do with this build anyway, if that was possible. Is make it more energy shield based and less evasion, because evasion got the big nerf midway through the league. What else do we have? We have obviously we have Druid. I don't want to speak too much on it because we don't even have any passive nodes on it, but it looks really good. From what we've seen, a lot of the skills can be utilized by other builds pretty effectively, I'm sure. Like I think that the lightning storm one, the one where you call the rain down, and the being wet procs shock, and it also does lightning damage. I think I don't know. I actually don't know if it does lightning. I'm pretty sure it does lightning damage and proc shock, but that can probably be potentially be utilized by Stormweaver. We could bring Spark back, given that there's only so many options since they nerf shock quite a bit. That's probably a good way to get it on your opponents or on your enemies, um, as well as some of the nodes that are around Stormweaver. I think Stormweaver could be back in business for shock. There's also things with infusion stuff. I'm not really interested in infusions and remnants and things like that, as I've said before, but um, still, it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be it's going to raise both the floor and the ceiling, so it's like an overall buff for the Stormweaver. Seems like there were some wins for Chronomancer. I don't know enough about the build to say, but a lot of people have been saying that not terrible, not terrible changes for the Chronomancer. I see a lot of people talking about Monk, doing like a wolf monk. I'm not sure how insane that looks. I think that looks pretty okay, like decent, but not like amazing. It just looks like it's like Ice Strike, but with the wolf, and maybe like extra buffed because you can do like the lunar magic beam thing. But I don't think Monk's in that much worse of a spot. It is if you're Hollow Palm though, because you get so much less of the attack speed off your evasion. That's like the big nerf that I thought was a little bit unnecessary. But either way, um, still not a bad way to go. Um, Blood Mage got nerfed for Spark. I didn't really look into it too much beyond that though. But I'm trying to think what's the other way. Lich didn't look like he got beat up too much. The worst thing about Lich is ED Contagion is probably going to be less effective with the less density, but again, you can put density on in multiple ways. I mean, honestly, if it didn't get nerfed at all, which I don't think it did, it's kind of already a buff just because everything else is going to be slowed down a little bit. So the ED Contagion's biggest downside was that it was kind of slow for clear, even though it was really strong. Um, Now you have less to compete with for speed, other than Pathfinder. Pathfinder is still going to probably be like 120 movement speed without Aurora. Mercenary looked pretty good. Gemling looked like it got some more resistances added to it through its gems. I still don't think it looks amazing, but it looks pretty good. Witch Hunter got that one ascendancy node. Now it's like super tanky. Now you're talking about having a witch hunter tank. And if you're running grenades, you already have a one-shotter build. I've seen a lot of different variations on grenades, and they're all insanely strong. Not just the crazy sunglasses build, but other people who can just drop, a couple was it like two or multi-shot grenades, so like 6 grenades or 9 grenades or something, just one shot basically any boss, with the right gear, of course. The other thing I'd say is like a nerf, but like a necessary one, was removing of the homogenizing stuff. Like I like the homogenizing elements. If you've watched the stream, you've seen me craft sometimes for the better, sometimes worse with the homogenizing elements, just like armor and helmets and everything. So that's going to go away. But I don't think it's too bad. Like I don't think it's not like 100% impossible to get those types of mods, those 2 extra mods, and also like less, like they weren't really worth anything at this point. Like I had what, a 2600 evasion energy shield with tri-res, 35% per res, and I think it sold for like 1 div because there's just no value in them anymore. Because of the homogenizing. So I think that's like the downside of the homogenizing is it was really easy to craft lots of good gear. But the downside is that none of it was worth anything. So it took the ability to craft for any sort of profit away, which is unfortunate. So, but I'm glad that overall I think it balances out, being kind of equal. If anything, we just have people running around who are a little bit less defensive, which increases the difficulty in some ways, which is fine. This game's not that hard. Another complaint I've seen is people talking about the precursor tablet change and how you need to defeat the Arbiter to do it, but I think that that's my favorite change. I think that like people who kind of avoid the fight with the Arbiter for like basically a year now, they need to really figure that fight out. It's not that hard, because we can't have 50% of people just like refusing to do what's considered the top pinnacle fight because they think it's too hard, because then it feels like they're never going to increase the challenge for the rest of the player base who does want to do that type of stuff. So I think it really incentivizing fighting him is pretty cool. I mean, you get infinite portals and you can't lose experience. So yeah, it's a good time to practice, I think, right now, honestly. Go get some fragments, fight the regular version, and if you're about to kill him, let him kill you, and then keep practicing, because once you learn to counter his moves, even though they're one shots, it's like you learn to counter them once, and like they're pretty predictable. Um, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good change in my opinion. Though I do see a lot of some people molding out about it who are like, "Oh, I just didn't make a boss killing build." But I think that like with the density being removed and everything, we're going to be pushing a little bit more single target, high damage builds anyway. So get your practice in with Arbiter. But I've even seen some really good streamers who are like, I hate that fight because I don't like one shots. But it's more like it's just kind of like a puzzle, and like I've pretty much figured out all of his attacks. So if anyone were to wonder, like how do I do the meteor seeds or the hallway or something, it's just practice, and you get infinite practice for the cost of your fragments. In fact, let's see what the cost of a fragment is. Maybe we'll do an arbiter. Let's see. How much is a fragment? We'll do like a cheap arbiter. How much is an expensive arbiter first? Oh wow, that's a wow. Everyone should be actually running citadels right now. Holy hell! Like if you do, like if you follow my guide, if you just hunt iron citadels, get them on your map, and use my guide, you will get over 9 divine per run. I think I've got like 2 or 3 on my map right now. 10 div for an ancient? What? That doesn't even make sense. Wait, no, is it? 10 div for an ancient crisis, for a regular ancient crisis fragment? So go run it without. That doesn't even. That's so crazy. So it's effectively cheaper to run the more expensive arbiter right now. Why? That doesn't even. I wonder why. I wonder if people are just running it because you can still get the diamond from it, and you just won't die. We'll run it. Why not? We'll run an Uber. Doesn't matter anymore. None of this stuff matters. But yeah, there's a few little tricks to them that aren't super complex. Like one of the first things I'll say that you do. Oh, interesting. Where'd my portals go? Hold on. Did I lose my portal? No, it's still there. Maybe it's just not for. Okay. So like, the first thing, whenever you're fighting Arbiter, to remember is that whenever he shoots his initial beam, is that you can't really do a ton of damage to him. Maybe you can if you're like uber strong, but you should use that time to set up. Like if you're a Hollow Palm monk or something like that, build up your rage and stuff like that, but don't like try to do your big damage on him. But you want to wait till he's ready. But like if you don't do a lot of damage to him, he won't do meteor seeds. You won't do the hallway right away. So just you want to get him to basically to the point where like he just starts a weaker attack, then do your damage. Okay. So we're just gonna light him up with lightning rods. He skipped them all. See, if you do it fast enough, you'll just push him right through it. And dead. Uber Arbiter. So in case you... nothing good there, but... easy money. But yeah, that's how you beat Arbiter. Obviously, if you're not doing a million damage, then you still have to do some of his... I was expecting him to do Meteor Seeds or something like that, but again, the point that I was making before the fight started was you want him to start his next attack. You don't want to blow his ass out at the very first chance, because then he'll start his Meteor Seeds or his hallway much quicker. You want to basically get him to start a weaker attack that has some like time or some cooldown in between his next attack, so then you could siphon tons and tons of his damage away or his health away. And then a lot of times whenever you siphon that much away, sometimes he'll still do Meteor Seed, sometimes he'll still do the hallway, but he has a much better chance of just skipping it. These things are not like it's not total RNG, you know, with him. That's the one thing I like compared to like, you know, with like King of the Mists. King of the Mists obviously is just insane RNG. He can put, you know, chaos pools on the ground or blood pools, whatever you want to call them, all over the place. He can pull up his tornado and basically stand in the middle of his tornado on accident. Olroth is just chaos, just his attacks and everything like that. Plus you have the monsters coming out of the portals, the beams circling around you. Zesht is the least chaotic one of them all. He's very, very strategic, though he does have no real direct pattern. But he's slow and you can kind of guess what he's going to do. The only time he's hard is if you don't do a lot of damage, you get into that second phase. When you get into that second phase where his arms are coming out of the ground, slamming you down, like depending on what type of build you are, sometimes it might be hard to build up more damage or build up a combo, especially if you're like melee. Like I beat him with my warrior, my Earth Shatter warrior a lot. And if once those started to pop up, if you like missed your big like Hammer of the Gods or whatever, but you still did enough damage to trigger his second phase, it was really hard to get enough, like, you know, get him stunned so you can get glory and hit him with another hammer, because of how much you were just spending time avoiding that stuff. But realistically speaking, his attacks are so slow and predictable, all you really need to do is just circle him. If you just circle him, just go in big circles around him, you're not going to get hit. Overall, there are a bunch of RNG though. Arbiter's not really any RNG. All of his attacks, very easy, very specific patterns. Yeah, that was easy. That was fun. I do enjoy myself an Arbiter, an Uber Arbiter kill. But yeah, I think that like obviously I'm a really strong build. You know, meta build. Gonna get tapped fast build, but like if you think about like how quickly I drained his health, if you cut that down by like 70%, like I'm still probably you know, I might have to do Meteor Seeds like everyone else, but other than that, like I'm still killing him. Which is what it looks like. It looks like the you know, this build next patch will be dulled out by 70%, but we'll see. We'll log on with it in standard or whatever and see what the damage looks like. I wonder if they're going to remove runes. I guess I didn't see that in the patch notes. If you had extra sockets in your thing, if they were just going to be removed, if you're going to get to keep them in standard. Either way, it's I don't play standard much at all, so not really a big deal. Trying to think what else we had in the patch notes. Let's look at those new patch notes again. Yeah, they did some weird tiny adjustments here. Is it they I guess they nerfed some damage. They increased the attack speed of the forked spear by 0.05 attacks per second, but they nerfed its damage in half. Not in half, but no, wait, never mind. They buffed it. They buffed forked spear. Sorry. Um, branching spear looks like it got nerfed a little bit. Prong spear looks like it got nerfed a little bit. So yeah, they just balanced it. Honestly, there's nothing like crazy new in here. There was stuff that it was funny because I was watching some streamers earlier look at the patch notes, and people were saying how different languages had different patch notes, and it turned out to be true, and that's what a lot of these updated patch notes were. They probably got feedback from seeing, like, I think it was like the Russian, the Japanese, the South Korean patch notes were all more detailed than the English speaking ones, English language ones, I should say. They included like the Falcon dive nerf and stuff, as as well as they had like the homogenizing omens not being in it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool that they updated it though. Unfortunate that wasn't there already, but yeah, Ambrosia looks like it got a bit of a nerf across the board, like each of the support gems for Ambrosia. But Magnified Effect is way better. They removed the downside to the skill damage. So yeah, obviously you're going to want to use Magnified Effect too. Let's see. Let's see what some of the people in the community said. Let's see something here. I mean, I'm not using a... Where is... Right, so if we go... Let's check out, let's look over the patch notes actually. Why not? See where we at. Okay, we're in the patch notes. A lot of patch notes, but let's look at the new ones. New patch notes 8.12. When parrying, no one likes parrying. This is all parrying. Oh, okay, so no longer prevents heavy stun build-up decay. So if you get... I don't understand, like, so, like... pretty much if you were sprinting and you got hit, you just got heavy stun and fell over. So like I wonder if this means like if you weren't sprinting and you got like you got stunned a bunch, and you start running, then it still decays, whereas maybe previously it didn't, deplete over time. That was kind of the problem with the Roa originally. Like in the first league, like a lot of people didn't like the Roa as much as uh, like Fubgun's build guide had wanted people to use it because you got knocked off of it real easy with the lightning spear. Um, because it's like the heavy stun wouldn't decay while you're on, you had to get off of it for it to decay. So that's a nice fix. Parry related passive node. What a waste. More parry passive nodes. Here we go. Here's Falcon Dive. Now grants 1% attack speed per 400 accuracy up to 20%. The node now grants 4% attack speed as well. I think that's a nerf, if I'm being honest. Let me go back and check real quick. So if we're here, we're doing Falcon Dive, which is over here. Is it? There we go. For 250 accuracy, yeah, that's a big nerf. Yeah, it's like a 40% nerf on the accuracy stacking. Increased ailment chance to ranger and monk. I mean that could be good if you're trying to stack shock or whatever, or poison. Like if you're doing like poison pathfinder, poison crossbow pathfinder even. And which actually that build looks great. What was it? But then again, I guess poison pathfinder. A lot of it was. I think they use Falcon Dive and stuff. Whatever. We're gonna have to wait a little bit closer to it till we get till we get the passive tree to see exactly lock in what we're gonna play for league start. So like 24 hours before. I probably won't be streaming them, but you'll get to see the league start once we start. Honestly, probably I'll probably get on like a half hour before, half an hour to an hour as we're queued up to enter. But Greatwood 2 support. Greatwood 1 is now a lineage support called Sorrel's Cultivation. Ambrosia 1 is now a tier 2, previously tier 3. Okay, so that got lowered. Ambrosia 2 is now a tier 3 support, which consumes 30% of mana flash charges, getting 1% damage extra lightning per charges consumed. Yep, that's a bit of a... For all these Ambrosia ones are collectively a nerf. They like lower the requirement on it, but overall the damage isn't as good. Sorry, these are the Ambrosia ones. This is good though. Magnified support no longer causes support skill deal less damage. So almost no reason not to use Magnified effect at that point on anything that has area of effect. Magnified area 2. I know I would run Magnified area 1 to avoid the damage loss at times. And then a lot of rebalancing on different items. It's so funny because like I don't even know what a lot of these changes are because these items are such like trash that you just never run them. Dream fragments now 15% max, up 10 to 15% maximum mana. I think previously, like before it got gutted to this, it was like 20%. Doesn't really matter though because you can't really mana stack at this point like we could in 0-1. This one's kind of interesting for like warrior and titans and things like that because you can't use body armor. Not good for smith, but like So, like, the Bringer of Rain actually has, like, pretty insane armor for a helmet. Like, let's just look it up. Let's pull it up on the thing here. Let's go with... So, like, if you had, like, a 20%, you had, like, a Giga one, so this is super corrupted. Let's try to find one no corrupt. So if you're not doing a corrupt, you want the highest armor. 10 divine. We're talking 1200 armor already, but like now it's gonna drop with 4 augment sockets. So this one's getting 18% from its single augment socket. With 4, you're gonna be able to get obviously like was that 72%. So yeah, you're going to be up closer to 2,000 at the end of the day. And then if you hit it with a corrupt, you could boost it even higher. You could also potentially remove this with one of those, with the Vaalborn things. Like if you can move this, I wonder if you could remove this. If you could remove this with the Vaalborn, where you could still use body armor, that would be insane. But then you could use then you don't need to run Giant's Blood, which is kind of like a big drag on your requirements, but like your requirements here pretty low. That actually could be a pretty interesting unique going into next league. And like, yeah, we saw even with the, if you take the corrupt, put the corrupt on. I can, what happened? I have to wait 52 seconds because I did it too fast. God damn. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting unique. Back to the patch notes here. Effigy of Cruelty, increased spell damage, 40-50. Okay, so that went down. Oh, this item has gained bonuses from socketed items as though it was body armor. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure how much that's really going to change things, but that's still pretty, that's cool. I've never dropped one of those, by the way. I've dropped fucking damn near every item, it feels like, in the game, but have not dropped one of those. Maybe it's not enabled on my filter because I'm running Deadeye, and my filter's pretty specific to that. Last lament gets a little bit of a little nerf there. Okay, that's... I mean, like, a lot of these, it seems like they're pretty... Like, Greymake now drops with 4 augment sockets. Like, that's crazy. Like, do they always drop with 4 augment sockets? Or is it, like, they can drop with 4 augment sockets? I still think it's pretty huge. Increased spell damage instead of lightning damage, that's good. Plus shock chance. I mean, like I said, I don't know these items as much, but it does seem like most of them just got buffs across the board. Let's see what the see what we got down here. Okay, these are just kind of like bases. Queen of the Forest. Queen of the Forest looks like it got a nice little buff there. But maybe not. Maybe that's just kind of like a balance, like a pretty balanced change. Mountain Splitter Ascendancy passive, which grants Every third slam skill that doesn't create fissures, which you use yourself, costs 3 additional aftershocks. Okay. And more warrior buffing. Nerf warrior. Let's see what people say about this. Where are we at here? What's today? December 8th. A lot of people just whining. Okay. As expected. Hey, I got a message. Oh, it's my purchase. Cool. But yeah, trying to think what we do with Pathfinder now. What are we gonna do with Pathfinder? I mean, like, so you wouldn't need those because it's equip quiver. We need stuff that's more bolt related. And crossbows at this. Where's the oh wait, this is crossbow here, huh? Yeah, so you're gonna be like traveling down here to get some of these nodes. These elbow, movement speed. Yeah, so you probably end up coming like over here and into this territory a little bit. I'm just wondering, are you gonna do poison crossbow or you do lightning crossbow? Got attack speed, blind. I haven't played too many crossbows, but broken armor. I've just done a couple practice runs, like through a couple of acts with crossbows. So it's just, I wonder if there's just like straight up let's see. So just like grenade nodes. Okay. So like if you wanted to play grenades, you just come over here, hit these. You're hitting these. I mean, honestly, you want these movement speeds and stuff like that. You're probably coming straight down here, hitting these movement speeds, attack speeds, and coming over here. Let's see what you, as far as bolts. Really, there's not a lot of bolt ones. Okay, so it would just be crossbow. See, I'd want to take a lot of this. I feel like it'd be nice. Is there a jewel slot anywhere nearby? No, I was gonna say it'd be nice if you had a nice jewel slot that just boom, you hit that, hit that, hit that, and then you just like maybe path up 1, 2, 3. Bolt reload speed. Is bolt reload speed really that like required though? That's actually crazy that those are the only ones for crossbow. Okay, so next would be like projectile damage. So I feel like you'd end up coming down here, coming over here, hitting these, then coming back down here. If you wanted a lot of projectile damage. You have a lot here too, though. Within 2 meters, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of projectile damage nodes on that side of the tree. I mean, Pathfinder with crossbow might just end up being like meta as fuck. Is that projectile damage? With spears, okay. Like, yeah, and if you like come down here, like if you come up here, grab all these proj nodes, grab these proj nodes, stay away from the defense ones because you don't need defense. You hit this crossbow shit up here, you come down here, you got projectile damage here, you got projectile damage here, you got options in here for like chain and pierce. You have grenades here. Then you come back down here and you hit boom, 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 all these proj nodes. And then you come up here and you start with using your Pathfinder node, you go boom, maximum energy shield, energy shield, energy shield, restart, charge. 30% maximum energy shield. 20%, that's mana regen. You got all this recharge. Let's see what all the energy shield nodes on this side of the tree. So like, yeah, you start here, you can basically take 1, 2, basically take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You come over here and boom, boom, boom. I mean, and if you're over here, you could also come over here and I guess that's just rate now as well. So like, I guess, I mean, rate's not bad, but it's not what we're looking for. In fact, let's go. So yeah, if you just want maximum energy shield, you just cap out up here. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you have 16 nodes that 16 like nodes or levels or whatever just to get energy shield. That's going to end up being a lot of energy shield. 40% max there. 15%, 15%, 10%. I mean, that's huge. You just start off with it so you don't have to path to it. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the Pathfinder kind of a meta, I think. Yeah, starting off either with a proj. I mean, especially, and when you're leveling, you're going to come over here with proj damage. You come straight up, you're going to come over here, you're going to... I'm trying to think, is there proj damage on the way? Oh, so you... So you could come over here. I mean, like, take all the proj damage. And come over here. What's this? Take the proj damage, come over here. Hit these proj damage ones. Boom, 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 boom. Come over here. I guess you don't want that, you want two-handed. Just that increased damage. Take these, come up here, have damage here. this whole node, this whole thing damage with crossbows. You have grenades over here. Yeah, this is, and that's not all that much pathing either at all. Like compared to what you're looking at for my build. Like it's 16 nodes up here, which is like 10 levels and like 3 books from the or even let's go 8 levels or something, or 10 levels, and then 2 books or something like that, and you can pretty much get most of the energy shield nodes you want over here. And over here it's just attack damage, proj skills, or proj damage, damage with crossbows. Yeah, it's all here. You're not going to obviously have things like these surrounded nodes, because we're not going to be using constricting command anymore. And you could take all the movement speed nodes still if you wanted to. Like you'd still basically take this path too with all the movement speed down here, but you could always just like path into that or spec into that later. But you can come up here and take these movement speeds, come up over here, come around here. You're back in the same territory with all these damage nodes, all these, you got elemental damage, attack damage while moving. Pathfinder might be good for attack damage while moving, since you're just trying to, especially in maps, you're trying to run and gun everything. These are some really, well, allies are in your presence, so that's less enjoyable. But I don't know, I think things are looking really good for Pathfinder. What's going to be interesting though is once they fill this out and seeing what hulking form is going to be able to hit, because like a lot of these are actually just generic and they're probably going to change entirely. Like all these shapeshifting, these are not going to stay just attack damage. Yeah, they're going to add like 130 nodes in this area here. What is link skills? Interesting. Attack damage. These are all these shapeshifting ones are all going to be damage. These are probably going to be like one for each of the forms or something. Molten being, taking his fire damage. See that? Yeah, Katava's actually looking really good with all these fire nodes. If they bring more fire damage, like there's a lot of choices for Ignite, and I think Smith the Katava is going to be able to take a lot of advantage of that. Plus, it's just such a cheap build. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what my damage goes down to. Let's go see the worm, the slinky bro. $56. I mean, it's still not worth anything to me, but cool to see. Always cool to drop a Sacred Flame. More fun last league, but oh, let's remove only. Let's see, we can do a simulacrum while we wait, while we're walking around, while we're not doing anything. Oops, wrong thing. What else is going to be new to the league? Ooh, we're almost, we got like 4 Zesh to run. Let's go. Might as well get a little bit, have a little bit of fun with this build before it disappears forever. Yeah, also be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a little bit of a kind of a makeshift subathon for the new league. I will be doing a little bit of a challenge wheel for every like 5 or 10 people who sub. We'll see how it feels. I think we're going to go start with 5, and if I need to up it due to the challenges stacking on top of each other, we might increase it to like 10 or something, but be sure to stop by. I'll be streaming probably for somewhere in the range of 30 hours straight for the first day. Probably go to sleep for, 4 to 6 hours, and I'll be back to hit it for another 12 to 18 hours. It's going to be a rough first weekend, but we're going to have a lot of fun. And so definitely stop in, talk about your build, let me know what you're running. See whatever I decide to do. Still ain't there. Still, I mean, Pathfinder looks great. Pathfinder looks great, especially if you consider crossbows. Crossbows is insane. Crossbows is already insane with like any build. Mercenaries, warrior, Pathfinder. It might be cool to do a poison grenade. Like I did a mercenary with flash and poison grenade. Just flashbang the boss like with 1 or 2 pulls of your grenades. They were pretty much instantly stunned, and then you just drop a bunch of poison on them with like conk effect. Like I think I could do 9 poison grenades with conk effect. And then after you lay those out, just hit them with bolts. Boom, 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 boom. I didn't like one cycle GNR, but I pretty much instantly got him into his second phase, and then instantly stunned him in his second phase into the third phase. The only thing that I need, and like I had no idea what I was doing with that build, so I think with a little bit of actual research, something like that could be insane. I had almost no real idea what I was doing with him. I did have the advantage of being able to I was still crafting my gear using my augments and stuff like that, so I would just buy something and slam it with transmutes and augments. So that kind of made it obviously easier, but I'll be honest, it was pretty easy to get a crossbow with +2 proj skills early on. So easy that I would definitely still, that's pretty much how I would be playing it going into any other crossbow build. Like I would just keep slamming them until I got a +2. I don't think it would take more than three or four crossbows to do. Of course, you want other good effects, or modifiers, but +2 proj is the best you're gonna get. Is pretty much pretty great. It'd be also nice if you can get like leech on there. It would double. Game looks so much crisper, at least on my end, and so much less laggy on PC. Very happy with the new setup. I don't think I've had any major instances of lag yet. But I will say I'm not running it on like the highest graphic settings either. Not the lowest, but enough to look better than my PlayStation and not lag. And I'll take all that. Just feels so much more responsive too without the frame rate dips. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of people talk about the Druids as well, the different like Druid forms. I gotta say, I'm not like overly impressed with it. I'm sure a lot of people play it. I'm sure a lot of people will find a use for it. But to me, like, it seems like it's kind of like bear or nothing. Um, it seems like your best bet is to do bear because wyvern looks slow as shit, and it doesn't look like it. I don't know how you play it. The more I've watched people talk about it and everything, I think they're coming to a lot of the same conclusions too. Um, and it also depends on like how much damage these spells actually end up doing. Like that rain of fire looks awesome. Hey, we got some lag. That rain of fire looks awesome. Oh, we got there we go. But at the same time, like as awesome as rain of fire looks, fire's not like the most damaging ailment. Uh, and it's also like how long can you do it? How much are you mitigating damage while you're doing it? Because if you're just floating above shooting fire, but you're not like stunning them or anything, and you're taking damage, like I don't see how that's going to be a benefit. I honestly think like if you're gonna run wyvern, the lightning breath is probably the most powerful one, but it's also like you need to be able to you're more susceptible to melee attacks, which is kind of annoying. And also like it's gonna take charges, so you need a way to like generate your charges pretty quick. Or constantly, like realistically, you'd really want to hit them constantly. Um, so that seemed difficult. I think the wolf looks decent, but my issue with the wolf is um, I want to see more skills with it. Um, I feel like what I saw in the video is like it wasn't all that strong, but I know that like they like consistently are kind of dunked on for showing like these really underpowered versions of skills in their live streams, but usually against relatively underpowered enemies too. But like the werewolf, not only was he not doing crazy damage or even good damage, I would say, but he was also um, getting absolutely dunked on for damage. Like he was getting damaged pretty easily, and that's actually more of my concern than anything. Um, Yeah, he was just taking a lot of damage, like almost dying in some of those clips. And that could be a criticism of the wolf form, but it could also just be a criticism of the druid form. I will also say that, like, you know, pretty much from the past like month or so, I've been saying that like my hot take is that the druid's going to be hot garbage. And I'm not. I feel like his skills are going to be good though. Like they're going to be good. Like the druid skills might be good for other builds, but or you might be able to do things with the druid and skills that we previously had. Like you could run that thunderstorm with like spark and cast on crit, cast on ailment kind of a thing, and like lightning conduit or meteor or some shit. Probably do hella damage, but like as far as like it's like what I see a lot of people doing, not like the better build crafters or anything though, but just like general people, is they're like looking at how they can use all of the new druid skills together to make a build, and I'm like, that's not gonna work realistically. Like you're gonna have to really get a good amount of synergy from the previous skills that we already have in the game, because like the primal skills are just like slow damage over time ones. They don't look like they're crazy damage over time, like high end, uh, boss killers. Like they're meant to be like kind of synergistically done with the um. I had to switch my HUD up. That was pretty bunk. Um, yeah, they seem like they either need to have direct synergy with the shapeshifting forms or with previous skills. Um, I do like the idea of like, I wonder if there's going to be. I want to see the other skills, obviously, but I wonder if there's going to be like a good um, build that's going to be able to take advantage of the vines. Um, just because I think it looks pretty cool. Um, I'm gonna guess no, but like I think it'd be really cool if we got a good vine build going on. Water our plants. We can water our plants, guys. Let me check something here. Hey, we got a new sub. Let's update this. Boom. All right. Yeah, and by the way, the sub goal is 500 subs because that's what we need to become like a YouTube partner or whatever, which opens a lot of options as a streamer. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't. We have a lot of fun here. We normally stream 5 to 6 days a week. It's been a little bit light the past week because I've been setting up the PC that I just purchased over Black Friday, and we've got and it's the end of the league anyway, so there's only so much that we can really get done at this point. Um, but I think over the next few days, I'm gonna be doing a little bit more yapping about builds and things like that. What I'm gonna do with my build, maybe pull up PoB and try to like theory craft something. I don't usually do that with POB, but why not? We can try something like that. I saw an interview with what was it, Jonathan Rogers, where he was talking about where they asked him if like you could run the Wyvern with like the chaos conversion, fire to chaos conversion. That sounds really fun. I'm not sure how useful it would be, but like, come on, purple fire breath is pretty sweet. If you could make like a lich dragon, be like Maleficent kind of a fucking beast. I mean, it's boom. Hey, spiral wraps. Love to see it. Alright, try it again. Gonna have to go into my hideout with keyboard and mouse mode and really get down with rearranging some stuff. It's a cool hideout though. I definitely love it. It'll take time to grow on me though. Like anything, I feel like I've spent almost the entire year with the almost an entire year running the with the dreadnought, so I'm so used to that thing. But honestly, I feel like the Plateau of the Gods is probably the best looking hideout there is. Looks even better. Like I like the beacon too. I think beacon is really cool. Mostly because I like the boat. But like at the $500 cost, yikes! Honestly. Like I don't even know what you do with like 60,000 points at that point. Like it only costs less than 1,000 to get all the stash tabs you could ever need. Um, how many sets of armor and gear do you need? I guess you can get a new one for every league, or for every character for like the first, for every league you play. But the boats are cool though. The boats and the islands are cool. Um, I guess like in a way it's not actually like the $580 cost because if like you just keep upgrading, it's not like that much, but it still ends up being something like 200 plus between the last. I think it's like 250 or so to go from the second to last to the last pack. Okay, let's go. Get wrecked, nerd. Hey, Divine. Very nice. Making money. Okay, so I'm at 240. Okay, I'll do another Zest. Yeah, I think the new league's going to be pretty solid. Once everyone actually gets in there, a lot of the people whining can have all their can get their feelings out. And they could realize it's actually going to be pretty awesome. God, I hate hearing the dialogue. Oops. Oh fuck, I accidentally just turned the chat back on. God damn it. We're gonna have to fix that. Oops. Okay. Nothing worse than seeing global chat, guys. I hope the Adziri Pinnacle boss is difficult. Oh yeah, they also made changes. Like they said, there's no endgame overhaul, but there's definitely endgame overhaul in a lot of ways. Like not a full endgame overhaul, but they did a lot. One of the things I forgot about is how they changed it so bosses can't just be like melted from their starting location. They basically now have like a bit of a reduced damage until the further they get out from their starting position. So you can't just like nuke them before they stand up and just like let them go. Which I think is a pretty big change. It's going to definitely add to the difficulty for builds like this, where they just nuke them from their standing position. What is it? They definitely talked to a lot of people who don't think this build got that nerfed, and I do think it's still viable, but I think it got nerfed in by tons and tons of different ways that we normally use. Like obviously setting up on bosses is a huge one for this build, like what we're doing right here. Nothing to love there. I do like that portal coming out of the sky like that. It's pretty sweet. Let's go see our friend. Our slinky friend. I like him. I'm so happy I have my treasurer now. Been waiting like a month and a half for him. Slink it up, boy. Yeah, Tri-Fizz and Chaos and Max Chaos Res. Like, come on, if those are better rolls, that'd be great. But they're not, so they suck. Let's go sell them to Andrew Doriani. Very cool hideout though. I'm happy with it. I like the portals. Portals match nicely. The only thing I wish I had was a map device, but honestly, like I don't think there's any map devices that match this place that much, so kind of okay with it. Oops. 45 million gold, guys. 45 million. Let's go see what this guy. I like looking at my money here. 130. 4,500. Oh, okay. Okay, calm down, buddy. If I turn down my dialogue. No, I guess I didn't. Okay, that's better. Look at that, guys. Fucking on a cloud. On a motherfucking cloud. Boom. Like, honestly, like... That's super cool in itself. This area here. Obviously, this is... I thought there was another one. Oh yeah, there's one over there. Is there any more down here? Okay, wait, did I see this tower? Or can I not go to this tower? Okay, I can't go to that tower. I should put like Zolan and Zelena over here. Fucking hate those assholes. Traitors, honestly. Oh, is this another one? Oh, okay, okay. I knew there was another area. See, like, we could put the base of operations, like, here. Put this here. And we just have everyone surrounded over here. And then you just put the waypoint down here. Like, that's, like, the simpler version of it. That could be really cool, too. Like, then we... But I also feel like it's like the streamlined version, but it's also kind of like the easy... It's kind of like the non-cinema version. I feel like this is like fucking cinema over here. It's pretty fucking... God, I hate relic lockers. I should just had like a relic stash tab instead. I don't understand the relic locker. move that later, but I kind of like this over here instead. Yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of that fucking thing. That gazebo. I wish I could talk to him. Is that like this? Maybe you should go over here, like around this area. Do you want to go over there, buddy? Sphinx Mystic. I guess it's not the same. No, the dirt gets in the way. Where is the other brazier? That's cool. You get statues you can put. I guess. A little decorating never hurt anyone. Gotta turn the lights on everywhere, guys. Can't have these half-ass lights. kind of like, I would almost remove that tree and like put the warp there and, or the waypoint there or something. I mean, I guess it's closer over here, but still. We're gonna move the salvage bench. I like when the salvage bench is like almost connected to the recombinator. You could put another lion statue on the other side of this asshole. Boom. Put another one over here. I like the lions. I'm kind of a lion. I mean, sure, we can't really see it, but we can. We can. I like that. Maybe move this over there. Shit. We've moved this shit over there. They could put like the relic locker where that is. Or maybe we put it over here with this. We'll see how much space we have. I think we'll have space, but this one over here. Take this, put this over here. Now we're talking, guys. Now we're cooking. It's like The Sims. Nice. Very nice. I wish I had my statues back from the Dreadnought, the Hillock one, and I feel like those would go good here, but guess beggars can't be choosers. Let's see, what else do we want to do? I mean, we could always fight the Arbiter again. What do you think, Arbiter? Let's do it. Maybe this time will give me a little bit of a challenge, you know? Oops. Maybe he'll make me do the meteor seeds or something. Honestly, meteor seeds is one of the harder ones. Not because of their timing or their fast or their anything like that. Just because he has he'll like slam down into the middle of the one. Let's go, Arby. I think we waste him again, though. What do you think, guys? But, wonder what builds everyone else is going to be doing. What versions of the Druid, right? Meteor seeds. Another easy one. Bunch of crap. Unfortunately, a bunch of crap. But we did it. We did it again, boys. Let me check. Let me change something real quick. Oh, I know why. Because we're not in a windowed mode either anymore. Let's fix that. One thing I wanted to see actually is I did download Sidekick, the overlay thing. I don't remember what the hotkey was for that. One second. Control D. Okay, so that's cool. Let's see. It's worth 80 exalts. Look at that. That's cool. I like that. Cool. Alright guys, I think I'm going to head out for the day. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out the other videos like those two. I'll be back probably tomorrow. Run some more random pinnacles. Mop up the hideout a little bit more. Needs a good cleaning. Probably see some more improvements to the overall stream as well, because I'll be working in my OBS and all that fun stuff. Other than that, thanks for joining me.